Maybe I need to be in here when I say hello, everyone. How's it going? Good to see everybody. As you can see, whoop, better take this off. I don't want to pimp the logo of my company on questionable YouTube content. Is everybody okay? How y'all doing? Let me go ahead and throw up this link and pin it. Good to see everyone. Been a few weeks since I've been on here, so I figured I would pop in and say hey, see what everybody's up to, drop the link. The link is pinned right up there if anybody wants to jump in and chat for a minute. My cat decided it wants to come in here, so hopefully everyone's doing well. I just spent I don't know, 8 hours, 9 hours on the phone. Yeah, I'm alive. I'm alive. So just getting used to, they shifted my schedule a little bit from 12 to 9, and now it's 11 to 8, and it's about 30-minute ride home and everything. So yeah, everything is going well so far. I've got about 2 more weeks in training, I guess. No, it's going to be, 2 weeks would put me right at the end of the month. So this week and 2 more weeks, and then I'll move to a regular schedule, whatever that ends up being. I don't know yet, but just trying to keep everything going. It rained the last 2 days on my days off, so wasn't able to get in the bees. So I'm going to try to get in them tomorrow morning just to check to see if I need to add another super and do some of that type of stuff tomorrow. So we'll see how it goes. We will see how it goes. But at any rate, if anybody wants to join, please join. Click the link pinned in the chat, and we'll get this party started. And don't forget to smash the little thumbs up button if you haven't already. Trying to get that going. I've also got a few ball cards on, starting to put a couple ball cards over on to the eBay there. Charlie.
Hey.
How you doing, sir?
Oh, I don't know. I was kind of tired. I just got up.
You just got up?
I just pulled a bob.
It took your old man nap. I got you. So yeah, I've got about 6 cards over on Amazon right now, depending on if you're a ball fan or not. I've got a what's this guy's name? Jermaine Burton autograph card. Thank you, Steve. With the piece of Bengals uniform there. I've got a highly sought after and kind of last time I saw a price on this was about $700. Jaden Daniel glass stained rookie card, or stained glass, I guess. Bucky Urban Genesis card.
They've been graded.
These have not been graded. I put them straight into these protective cases when I opened the pack. Bo Nix autographed rookie card if you're a Denver Broncos fan. San Francisco 49ers fan. I've got a patch card, autographed patch card with helmet. And if you're a Miami Dolphins fan, I have a 1 of 10, only 10 in existence. Miami Dolphins patch card of Tua. So got those on the eBay right now in my eBay store. If you are a sports fan and collect cards, I know not many people nerd out like I do sometimes, but it's one of those things. How's the bees doing, Charlie?
They're doing good. I don't know.
Expand on that. I've seen you put out a few little videos lately.
Yeah, I'm going to try to do one Thursday. I grafted and started a cell builder up Saturday afternoon. And so hopefully if the weather clears up,
hey Joey,
I'm gonna put out a video of what the results is, see how well my cells will take.
Well, it rained the last 2 days here pretty bad. And then this morning before work, it was raining. And then lo and behold, the sun just popped out. So hopefully tomorrow
supposedly for here, it's going to rain pretty much all week.
Tom, what's up?
I've been live every Tuesday at 8:00.
I saw you were live when I started, and then I went back, or before I started, and then I went back to see if you were still live because I wasn't gonna rain on your parade, so to speak, because you had it going, right? So
yeah, I hopped off just to get on yours.
Were you still live when I went live? I thought you were over.
Yes. No, I was still live. I go to 10
apologize,
o'clock.
man. I would have taken leave because you were the first one on. I didn't mean to start when you were going because I didn't want to.
No biggie. I just been trying to fill your shoes.
Some big shoes, man. Not really. It's not that hard, but the job's going okay. I mean, it's just I've got that shift that's morning to night, and it just kind of throws everything off. But you know, it's talking all day long. So when you get home, what's the last thing you want to do? Talk some more, right? So that's what we've been up against. But and then you get home you get off at 9, 30-minute ride home. It's 9:30. You try to eat as fast as you can, and then it's like, do I really feel like going live? You know, it's just one of those things. But plus, there wasn't really much to talk about. I mean,
if y'all need any honey, just call Keith Spillman. He's been pulling honey like crazy.
I lifted one super up, and I under supered it, and boy, that's probably the heaviest box I've ever lifted in my own yard. Or at least it felt that way because it was the first one I've actually picked up this year. So I picked it up. I mean, it probably was 100 pounds. It was a deep, and it was just slam full. So I under supered that one to see if I could get them to, realize that we have to walk further to start filling up. But yeah, Keith's got the honey by the gallons over there. So I don't think I'll meet what I did last year at this point, but I still have bees, and I've got probably 11 more colonies than I did coming into spring. So just doing what we can to keep things rolling with that,
Right.
And boy, jobs seem to have terrible timing. They always want to come around during bee season.
You probably don't know my news. I retired.
No, I didn't hear. Well, congratulations.
Well, thank you. That's why I could do this Tuesday. I got more time.
Are you bored yet?
Heck no.
Not yet. Give it 6 months. You'll be like, darn.
No, I won't.
Especially when you put all that bee stuff up and you'll be like, you'll be making woodworking videos.
No, I might. I'm always I'll be building my lean. I'm gonna redo some of my house. I got tons of stuff to do. I got 10 years worth of projects.
If I stay in the house for more than about 2 days, I get get pretty
Yeah.
bored with it. But it's one of those things. Even with the the last 2 days, I wanted to go out work the bees, but it was just too much rain to do anything. So my wife's at work, so I don't know when she's getting home. No food.
Oh, she's got a job too.
Yeah, she just works over at the Walmart. But it's standing on concrete for 8 hours straight, so it's not.
That kills you. That kills.
Yeah,
you.
it's killing her too. So
Yeah.
Steve says he's been retired 24 years and he's never bored.
Yeah.
I can always find something to do, but
That's how I am. If I sit down for 3 hours, there's something wrong.
right. That's what I mean. Even when I wasn't working, I would go out and mow a different spot in the yard or blow the dirt off or find something to do,
Right.
just to keep busy.
I got 3-acre playland with 1,000 square foot doghouse to play in.
I'll tell you what, here, the temperatures have been, even when it gets up like today, it got to 84, but it didn't feel like 84 to me. It still felt kind of cool the last couple days with the rain and everything. And it just seems like everything has bloomed early, which might be good and it might be bad, right? Later on in the year, am I going to end up feeding more because everything bloomed too early or so early this year? It just hadn't been that 100-degree heat yet here. So
Right.
we'll see. We'll see how it goes, but I've just been kind of.
We made a record in April for the wettest April on record. And the first 8 days of May, it rained.
First 8 days of May, it rained.
Yep.
Holy moly!
We've been getting inches and inches of rain.
Hey, Jack.
Well, I know my privet trees, they were blooming, and then it started raining, so a lot of those flowers are now on the ground. So I don't know if it's going to wipe that out entirely. I mean, they got some of. Russell said it was only 90 degrees for him in Minnesota. Yeah,
We got up to 75, I think. 74, 75.
It was raining today. It was light rain.
It's supposed to be, I don't know, it's only 73 right now.
It's 61 right now.
I don't know what it's supposed to be the next couple days. Well, it says it's 82. Thursday is supposed to be 85 and then 89 on Friday. And it's cloudy all those days, so we'll see if it actually hits that or not. But if I don't get to go out in the morning because I have to be to work earlier, it might be Sunday before I can even get to my bees. So,
well, the only good day here is going to be Sunday. Maybe there's a 30% rain chance of Thursday. I'm hoping to get out there and do a video on that cell builder. So
It's supposed to be in the 90s here later this week.
Has your tallow bloomed this year?
Upper 80s.
So I saw Bruce putting up a video. When was it? Was it this past weekend when he was talking about the tallow and why the bees love it so much?
I think it was Saturday or Sunday when he posted that. I can't remember. I don't even know what day this is. This is
Tuesday.
Tuesday.
I'm the same way. It felt like a Monday for me. Ooh.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's just work, man. Just on the phones all day long with a little cheap headset and answering people's calls. Can we get service in our area? We get a lot of people, believe it or not, from calls from like Texas, Ohio a lot, Wisconsin, Maine, seeing if we got service up there. So trying to maximize that. Okay, so the tallow is drooping but not blooming yet where they're at. Gotcha.
Hey, JP. Charlie up in Northeast PA. Where are you about? Where are you at in Northeast PA at?
Mark Cottrell says it's raining up in West Virginia too.
Yeah.
Oh, you
Yeah,
might
right
be.
in Ohio Valley too.
Well, it's going right now. The rain's going up right up the coast.
Yeah, that was over our place 2 days ago.
Lake Ariel, he said.
Oh, where that's at?
Doug says he's got 95 degrees on Monday and Friday. Wait, 95 here on Monday, and Friday is to be 26 Fahrenheit.
Man.
That sounds like my winters. Not quite 95 in the winter, but it still gets pretty warm.
There's old Mark Cottrell, struggling beekeeper.
Yeah.
We've just been, I mean, my 2 framers that have queens in them went to 4 frames, so I need to check them to make sure I don't need to move them to a bigger box. It's been, I just haven't had the time. Well, I can't say that. I have time. It's just real early in the morning before work. And I don't want to get out there and get sweaty before I have to change clothes to go to work. So I've been kind of laying off of it, but I need to definitely check them. I've been checking them pretty much once a week at this point, just to make sure they're packing honey away. Our yard's doing okay. It's not doing as good as I would hope. But then again, when I put them out there, they weren't very good colonies to begin with. So some of them, a couple of them are doing pretty good, and then a couple of them are struggling. But it's the same with everything. I just don't have the time to get a graft and get on a good schedule where I know I can pull them and put them in when I need to. And so we're just working with it, which is one of the reasons why I'm trying to sell some of these cards online. See if I can maybe get some queens, and after the flow, split them off and maybe requeen those colonies.
Yeah, Charlie's up in basically west of Scranton, Pennsylvania. So he's about 3 hours ahead above me.
Saw Deirdre posting that beer barrel hive that somebody posted on Facebook today. Grammy, Lisa.
I got one mean hive. They're always aggressive.
I've got three mean ones, but now, I mean, they're not that bad when you just pop the top and throw another box on them. They'll be mean when I start pulling that stuff off of them, I'm sure.
Yeah. Mine acts like a Russian hive. As soon as I pop that lid off, they fly out, but then they calm down.
I went to my prison yard today. Had 6 colonies I wanted to go through there, mainly just checking the third box to see if they had any honey to pull.
Right.
And one of them I needed to use the hive lifter and put a new bottom on there. I got out the truck and opened the back door, and I realized I didn't have my bee suit.
Did you take the gamble?
I dug around and I found my old little veil I've had bought from back when they were Texas Bee Supply. I bought from them years ago. I used it. I managed. Try not to disturb them too bad.
I really.
That's these hives right here. There's only 6 there now.
I've tried to stay out of my mean ones, other than just putting a box on top of them, and hopefully I can rectify that situation somehow in the fall. But it's good when the flow's on, because they're not really as aggressive. But They'll let you know what time it is, though. They will definitely let you know what time it is if they don't want you in there. Everybody's doing good, Jeff.
Yeah.
Good to see you. We actually have 75 people in here. Appreciate all you guys.
Well,
And
I
are
brought
you guys
about
doing?
40. I brought about 40 over.
You brought 40 over. Let's go to Bob's and rate him.
That's exactly what we said, right, Joey?
Yeah.
I saw you were live, and then I refreshed my face or my YouTube and didn't see you. Otherwise, I would have just joined you guys.
Well, I hopped off for like a minute to open up 2 hives I had closed up the last 3 days. And then I hopped back on.
Cup.
But Joey and Pennsatucky was on.
Alan Hundy says they don't tolerate mean stock regardless of the species. Yeah, I don't have any choice because I didn't have that many colonies. I have to stick out with what I got at the moment. But they're making, last time I checked, they were making pretty good honey stores. So maybe I'll eliminate that queen following the season. I can endure it this a little bit more. I think my wife just pulled in. Good to see you. I do have, I think I might have my second out yard. One of the ladies at work has been hounding me about bringing bees out there since I started. And it's not close to me, so I kind of been hesitant. And then I caught 2 swarms that I had to go get. And I'm like, well, they're in pro nukes already. I can just close them down. I'll check them on Sunday, close them down Sunday night, and then carry them over to her place and relocate them on Monday, and try to make that work. But I don't know. I mean, they're not going to make honey for me this year because they're too small. But if they can just get through the winter, then that'll be hopefully a boom for next year. I can. The funny and maybe how do you guys do your out yards? So when you split your out yards, do you take it from, let's say, yard 1, you make nukes there, and then you carry them over to like yard 2 and drop them there, and then take yard 2 splits and carry them to your home yard, that type of thing, just to rotate them around?
Once I get rid of most of my nukes in my home yard, I start moving them, the out yard nukes here.
Okay, so you take all the ones from the out yard and bring them home, and the ones from the home yard, you split them up between your out yards?
Well, I actually do the splitting in the yard they're in. But once they mated nukes, got mated queens, I'll box them up and bring them
home.
I used to take people to the out yards, but I got where I don't do that anymore.
Well, the nukes need a little bit more feed and stuff like that, so it's probably better just to bring them home, right, where they're closer to you.
Yeah,
That's how
sometimes you actually have to take, because I keep mine in 10-frame boxes,
right?
Most of them anyway. So sometimes they'll draw some frames out, and I'd have to pull them before the buyer comes.
I'll tell you what, I made some espresso creamed honey, and I've really only taken it to work, and boy, they love that stuff. I don't know what it is about it. They just mix it into their coffee, and I guess they give their coffee a shot and sweeten it all at one time. Trying to read chat. Make a nuke, bring it to the next yard or home. They can move out from home the next day if need be. I got you. But yeah, the rain has just kind of held everything down right now here. So I don't know what the honey production is going to be like this year, but better than it would have been with those few hives that I had. had at the beginning of the year, so I guess it's all right. We'll just make do with it. So
Yeah, my out yard right now doesn't have any bees in it. So that's my next thing is get some bees over there.
how many colonies you got at home now?
30.
30 at home and none in your out yard?
Yeah. I got to take some over.
Well, it seems like most people that have had, the people that I've talked to that have lost numbers this year seem like they've come back pretty well with it. Obviously not everybody, but most everybody that I've talked to has recovered pretty well.
Yeah. That Sterling leak killed all those hives, my 5 hives out there. So I haven't replaced them yet.
I get more junk mail, people wanting me to borrow money from them.
So that's my next goal.
Whenever I see paid to the order of, I always open it up, and it's it's always a credit card company. It's never a real check. There's another credit card company.
All 7 of my resource hives are brand new hives themselves that I've made. So once they get big enough, I'll split them and move them over.
Now, have you grafted this year, or did you buy some mated queens?
No, I grafted. Those are the queens I used to make small 2-3 frame splits. So they're really small right now.
Yeah, I just made my 2 framers. I just did the old barnyard bees walk away with them, and they're still alive, so that's a good thing.
Right.
They're not like exploding, but they are doing something.
I took a frame of brood and a frame of food, and then I shook another frame of brood in each one. So they're like 2.5 frames of bees. That's what I opened up today. I keep them closed up for 3 days so I don't lose them.
Right.
4 of theirs at least. And I had to run out real quick and open up 2 of them.
Kind of treat them like a swarm almost.
Yeah. They're a small swarm.
Charlie said he lost 6 hives to a tree branch. This is basically starting over. He only had 3 left, took 5 hives and tipped them over over the winter. The branch.
Wow, that's a tough one.
And he was down in Florida when it happened. His grandson didn't know what to do.
He probably does now.
Yeah, just got it. Alan says he's got 14 at the house, none in the out yard.
So I got like 16 big hives. 5
Some of these guys are just getting going good. Like Brad is probably just getting started good. Where he's at, right? May.
I was watching some of his videos. He was kind of digging into the hives and stuff.
I saw that one where he was doing some hive inspections. But it was on Saturday when it drops, and I started watching it. Then I had to go to work, so I didn't finish the whole thing. I need to go back and complete it. A lot of times I try to give people watch hours. Even if I don't have time, I'll just like start it and walk away. And not that not interested. I'm just trying to give them the watch time on the videos.
Yeah, actually, I'm driving out to my out yard tomorrow because I have 3 hives and a swarm trap just sitting there. If I cut any swarms, so I might have bees, I might not.
My mentor is talking about getting out. So he says he's getting old and starting to have some health issues, and he doesn't know if he can keep it up. So he said he'll always have some bees, but as far as selling nukes and that kind of thing, he's thinking he's gonna probably cut it out. So we'll see. Yeah, Sam, he's 75 this year and a disabled vet, so he's having a few health issues, I think, or concerns.
Well, right there's your there's your new out yard.
There's my out yard. Hey, just keep them here, man. I'll just keep coming and splitting them and grafting queens over here.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
I
that
mean,
way
you
you
know,
still keep bees, and I'll just maintain as many as I can.
Yeah.
you know,
Well,
With Sam,
put your bees there, and then it gives him something to do to look after them. You don't have to sell them.
yeah, Sam is. I've talked to him a few times about it, but because he kind of adopted the old barnyard bees method too of, just doing walk away split, which is great if you've got the resources to keep those splits loaded up with bees all the time, right? So we all know you take a frame of brood, and anything that's too old is going to fly right back home. And then you don't know till the next day how much brood actually died off of that frame because there wasn't enough bees to take care of it. Or they make a cell, and then the queen flies out and doesn't come back or doesn't get mated. And then you go back to your mother colony and pull another frame to try to restart the process. And over the last 6 years, his hive numbers have diminished just from stealing resources from them and then selling the nukes that they make. So it's like a downward spiral. And then you have a bad year where you lose a bunch of colonies, and next thing you're in trouble. So that's part of it too. So just trying to and I haven't even been able to go out there as much as I'd like to, but when I go to the out yard, I usually swing back by his place just to chat and see how he's doing and check in on him, because it's just him and his wife there. So he doesn't have family like right in the area, so to speak. So I try to keep up with him, on his birthday, take him something, or Thanksgiving Day, take him a couple plates or something like that over, just trying to look out for him a little bit. And I mean, even before I had bees, I would go out to his place. I think I started going to his place in October, and I didn't get bees from him till like June, So I was already catching swarms before I had my first colony. I was going out and doing removals and swarm catches and stuff like that to get bees. So it was really an interesting time. Not knowing what you're doing and catching swarms. So let me see. But we're all getting older, so there's at some point there's that realization, right? That hey, when is it just too much? And everybody's different based on their health and everything. If I was JW, man, JW seems to be young and spry to be working as many bees as he is, and that's good, man. That's great. Freebies are good, Mark. I like freebies too. Matter of fact, I've gotten, I think, 4 swarms from people's bushes and trees, and I got 2 from one construction site back over there. But the for the most part, I've missed so many that have called me that I just can't leave work to go get, or I've gotten a lot of calls for removals this year too. And that's when I first started, that was fun and interesting, but yeah, I don't have the everything bee vax, so it seems like every time I go out there, I'd make bee soup and ended up killing more bees trying to do removals. And then the people didn't want to pay you for your, bringing all your tools and everything out there. So it was like,
I've seen one guy, I think in Utah, he removed a big swarm, or not a swarm, but hive in a house, and it took him 12 hours. And I'm like, if it took you 12 hours, you better get some decent money out of that. That's a lot of work.
Hey, I've caught 26 swarms last year, and I'm on 8 or 9 this year. I finally got my first marked queen, but it was one of those ones that you glue on.
Oh, really? It was a breeder.
It was a blue one. Somebody's breeder queen swarmed.
Did it have a number on it too, or just a color?
Just the color.
I started,
on.
if it's something
Oh.
easy for me to get to, like under a trailer or something like that, I'd probably do it. But
Yeah,
if
but
it's
last
in
time you
somebody's
did that, you
wall,
got stung 37
like,
times.
more than that, man, like 200 times on my legs. Ended up at the VA hospital. But, you know, stuff like that, I don't mind going out and doing. But if it's in somebody's wall and it's too big of a pain in the butt for the time that I have available to do it, I just go to the old trusty, you know, I'm not licensed and bonded to do that, right?
Right.
And most people are like, oh, okay. And Rodney removes bees every weekend. I get it. If I mean, I had a bunch of calls. I like the easy ones. Call me if they're on a bush that's like 6 feet tall. I'm there. You know, I went after work one night. It was dark outside, and I was getting bees off of somebody's little magnolia tree they planted in their front yard. Yeah, I mean, it was just probably a 3-foot tall bush, and got as many of those bees as I could. I couldn't even see a queen or anything, so I guess I got her. The bees are still in the box, so that's a good sign.
Right. Oh, you know what's kind of funny? My hive number one swarmed on me. So after I did all that work I did in April with her, I put her in the Apamay hive that was a dead out in the wintertime. It actually had 19 or 20 frames of comb frames in there. So, you know, everything built. I put her in there. I didn't close her up. The next day she flew out and flew in one of my 24 horizontal hives that has 24 plastic foundation frames in it. No cone frames.
And they built it out?
Well, they're building it out now. But they turned down a 20 frame combed Apamay hive.
I think they know if something's wrong with comb or something like that. I mean, it would make sense that they would, but I've had that happen too. You know, put an old brood comb in there, and sometimes it works and sometimes it don't.
Yeah.
You know? So it's a good thing you caught them though, that it still stayed in your yard. That's good.
Yeah. Well, I was out in the yard when it swarmed.
When they swarm here, they always go like 30 feet up in a tree, just over what I can reach them.
Yeah, I got a pole. I can go 35 feet, and it was about 20
I've
feet
got a
up.
pole, but even with that pole, I have to stand on a ladder, and then you put a frame on the end of the pole or something like that, and that thing still seems like it weighs 700 pounds at the end of that stick blowing around.
Right.
So, the last one was right over the power line, so I wasn't going to take my aluminum my aluminum pole and stick it up in the power lines, trying to get the swarm out. So
I wouldn't do that either.
One we just say, see you later.
You'd have got a good buzz out of that one.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Good night, Jeff. Good to see you, buddy. But yeah, that's the thing, is just, you know, and to be honest with you, when I started beekeeping, it was supposed to be a hobby and enjoyable. And after a while, when you get too many, to me, it just wasn't that enjoyable. And it became work at that point, right? So I kind of like having a little bit less colonies and less to deal with at this point. And it's pretty good. Hey, Todd, the link's up there, buddy. Come on in.
Yeah,
And,
like this year, I stopped selling nukes, and that's been the best thing I've ever done.
What, not selling nukes?
Not selling nukes. I don't have to deal with anybody. I don't have to worry about whether I have to have bees, you know, that I got bees to, that I promised somebody.
Well,
all that stuff.
I've had people call me this year, and I just told them, hey, I lost a bunch of bees over the winter. That any bees I can make this year, I need to use to rebuild, right? So that was kind of it.
Well, I don't know, I would just say reorganize my business plan, I guess you'd call it, where got out of the nukes. Now I'm working on,
The honey.
having fun raising queens.
The only thing I wish I would do is every year I have certain people asking me, do I have honeycomb? And I haven't done any cut comb honey. And that's something I would like to start doing. But it's kind of weird. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's just the way I look at it is that I've had a hard time getting comb built up the last several years. And I feel like, man, if I take that away from them, that it's a little bit more challenging for my bees. Hey, Alex, how's it going?
There, look
Yeah,
at
Alex, been a long
Hey, how are
time.
you?
Yeah, it's been a while. Let's see.
It's like
I
a
had to-
reunion tonight.
Pardon me? What?
It's like a reunion.
Yeah,
Haven't
it's been
seen
a while.
you guys in a long time.
Yeah, I tried joining the last stream, but it was too late when I noticed you were there, and then it's been a month.
Yeah, it's been, what was it, 3 weeks ago that I was on, or maybe
4.
it might have been a month since I've been on.
So how's your bees, Alex?
They actually same as last year overall, but one of the apiaries lost half of its population, so 8 total. Four of which seems to be abscond, which it's the first time that I see this. The other one only lost 30, so I went from 30 to 22, 33 to 22.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, same as last year, about 30% losses.
It spans, contracts.
But what's weird is like four hives in the like I said, they looked like abscons, so maybe the very warm fall. I don't know because they weren't dead; they were empty.
Right. Well, are you still at the, what is it, the strawberry patch or?
Both places, I still have both apiaries.
So say, Alex, our linden / basswood trees are about to bloom. I always think of your tree when they bloom. The magic basswood tree.
Yeah, the magic tree. Well, basswood in general are magical as far as honey is concerned.
Yeah.
My privet trees do really well as well.
So how have you been doing, Bob?
I've been doing okay. I just had to join the workforce, which has thrown my whole YouTube existence on out of whack. But it is what it is. Got to pay the bills, and YouTube doesn't do that typically. What you got there, Joey? Let me.
That's Todd's
His builder.
Todd's builder right there. He sent that while ago earlier.
That's
Is that the top? I guess that's the top in it.
almost looks like a pizza box.
It's a lot of bees. A lot of bees.
Tried to flip it, but it kept turning.
Kept turning on you.
Yeah, but is that him raising the lid up? I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to have I mean, that's one thing. I took that class down there at Bill's, and he had 8 frames of bees looking like that, and then he dumped 6 more pounds of bees in there, and
So every frame is jam full of bees.
jam. And I did that at builder of mine. It was a queenless hive nuke, and it was packed.
Starter finisher, he said.
And I put brood in there and all this different stuff, and then I went back to these hives behind me here, and I pulled, I don't know, 2 or 3 pounds of nurse bees out of them and poured that in there, and they're jammed. I went out there today and it's raining, and they're just hanging on. Well, actually, I can present that.
Nice, Todd. 25 out of 32.
Let's see if I can.
How many rounds are you going to be able to go, Todd, in there? Be curious to see. I think I did 3 in my last one before I left that last queen cell in there for them to do their thing.
Yeah, I won't be able to do anything with my bees for another 2 or 3 weeks at least. It's probably going to be warm enough to remove the blankets soon.
Really?
Oh,
They're
yeah.
talking about 90 degrees in Saskatchewan.
Cell butter.
It's not been that warm where you're at?
Well, it fluctuates. It's not the temperature varies between close to freezing and 25 Celsius. I don't know how much it is in the freedom units.
Well,
But I'd say maybe around
it'd still be warm enough to take the blankets off of them and put some feed on them, right?
Oh, I gave them open feed. Well, at least the strawberry patch apiary, I gave them open feed. The other one have greenhouses where they can get food for free.
Right. Did you give them any pollen sub or no?
Like I said, yes, they both got no. Wait, no, only the strawberry field got foods. So both sub and sugar water. The other one, like I said, they have they're right next to a big series of greenhouses where they raise flowers in the spring. So they have plenty of nectar and pollen. I don't need to feed them, at least there. I just didn't want to take a chance with the other one, so I fed them.
Definitely don't want them to starve out early.
Yeah, but they were like both the one that had high losses, the remaining hives except one were really doing good. So I don't know what happened, what caused this loss really, especially with four abscons and the rest looks like regular starvation maybe. And they all had the same treatments: a puck of an epi tablet puck,
Right.
and I treated with yes, formic and oxalic in fall, and kept it up with the epi tablet. And like I said, one of them lost half. One of my apiaries lost 8 hives. Doesn't make sense to me.
It may not even be mite or treatment related. It may be something they're getting into.
Weather, my guess is because we had an unusually warm fall. So maybe they started brooding, the 4 that absconded. Maybe they started brooding, ran out of space, and decided to fly off, and then winter came.
But they didn't starve. There was still feed in the.
It was just empty with food.
Huh.
The comb Todd is pretty recent. I've replaced almost all my old comb.
That's interesting. I wonder. I mean, I get some of those too, where they just are gone for whatever reason.
Just completely absconded, or
Yeah, it was empty, not dead. There wasn't even a single dead bee at the bottom, and there was still food. So it's either too many mites, but why was it so uneven? Like the remaining 8 or 9 hives were booming when I did the first inspection this year, except for one, and even that one looked like it was bouncing back.
it's just one of them things with bees. You know, sometimes you just don't know.
Yeah.
I know, you try to explain it, try to figure it out. You know,
Well, neonicotinoids, sorry if I didn't pronounce that right, would have affected all the hives, wouldn't it? And the guy knows I use, the guy uses the right kind of pesticides. I don't know the name, but you spray it at night, and by morning it's inert.
he's doing what, vegetables?
He he grows squashes and not cauliflower but broccoli. But there's several plots. These are what's usually closest to the hives.
Yeah, but I mean, is there anything there for the bees to really get anything from? As far as that, I mean, as far as nectar, or are they just more like pollination?
I'm not sure what's pollination.
Well, if you're pollinating the squash or the vegetable with the bees, I mean, I'm wondering whether the bees are actually going to the plants and getting any.
Oh, yes, well, they should. I can't say for sure, but I've made a bit of research, and squashes are pollinated, and they're a good source of pollen. There's even squash honey. So, and there's like I said, there's greenhouses where they raise house plants with flowers. So yeah, that place is okay for food. And like I said, it's this really strange dichotomy of like dead hive and extremely healthy hives. So
Yeah,
bees are weird.
he's talking about
Hey,
the
Bob, Charlie, I gotta hop off.
All right, Tom.
Good night, Tom.
See you later.
Talking with you, buddy.
Yep, have a good one.
All right,
too.
Tom.
Yeah, I almost missed this one too.
Oh,
I don't know. I mean, as far as
he started a little after 9 tonight.
the neonicotinoids, usually the plant is already pre-dosed with that in the seeds. It's the days of spraying is minimal anymore. They actually got the plants already self treated, I guess you would call it.
Mm-hmm.
So
Other than that, it's going. It's doing pretty good. Like I said, and the strawberry apiary. Sorry, I haven't spoken in English in a long while. So the other apiary is doing remarkably well. Out of 18 hives, it lost 3. No, 17. It lost 3.
It's a pretty good percentage, though.
Yeah. But there wasn't any flowers when I last checked on them. So I dropped 12, like a tub. I drilled holes on the side, put 12 gallons of 3, not 3 1, but
1 to 3.
2 or 3, sugar water. 2 to 1 sugar water. And I should actually this weekend I'm probably going to go in and remove the blankets. Like I said, it's fluctuating a lot. Temperature is fluctuating a lot, but it seems to be above freezing for now. So
Might be out of the woods.
yeah,
No, that'll be good. You should still make a good bit of honey though this year with the hives you got.
well, yes, because it's I had a similar amount of loss last year.
Well, is the you still have to deal with the brewery? Was it a brewery that you were selling bulk honey to?
No, it's another apiary in up north near Motamla.
Oh, okay.
He had big losses, so he bought from me to compensate.
Well,
So I
that's
don't know if he'll buy more. I could phone around, see if I could find more buyers, because I can't store that much honey in a house. I don't want to damage the floors.
It'd fall through to your neighbor.
Yeah, the landlord will not like that. That's why I store them along the walls where the floors are the strongest. Not taking any chance.
You're gonna have to take like plywood and line your floor so you could stack all the buckets of honey on it.
Yeah, I have like 15 buckets left, maybe 12. I haven't counted.
So that's last year's harvest.
Part of last year's harvest. He took all the
Year before.
no, he took all the basswood honey because he already has strawberry honey. So he
Right.
took That's why he took the remnants from the year before and everything from last year.
You're a better man than me, because all the honey that is in my house right now would have just magically turned into that unicorn tree basswood honey. It would all, hey, what honey is that? Oh, that's basswood as far as I know.
So, Alex, what does that strawberry honey taste like?
It's a bit like caramel, but doesn't taste as doesn't have the same tang. It's a lot sweeter too. It feels at least a lot sweeter than basswood honey.
Does it cream well?
I haven't tried creaming it.
My honey creams, however, it's slow to cream. It doesn't cream like I see everybody in a week. Their stuff's creamed. Mine doesn't cream in a week like that. It takes much longer. Now, if I just bottle it and leave it out, it'll cream just fine in the jar. But when I'm trying to cream it, it seems like it takes a lot longer, for sure. But it works. It's just I guess a finer grain than
Well, it might take longer to make, but it makes for smoother creamed honey.
yeah, smoother cream honey.
Because some of my I haven't bothered making more because it doesn't sell that well where I am, because it's not that uncommon.
Right.
But the consistency is not great for what I made, probably because I was using that machine. What's it called? The KitchenAid mixer, and I used an alarm clock to turn it off and on.
Yeah.
It made mixed results. Some of it was really good, really smooth. Some of them you could kind of feel the sugar grains. So probably due to lack of consistency or time.
So what's next for you, Joey, in the bee yard? Collecting honey?
You're muted.
You're muted.
I went and looked in some today and yesterday, and I've got several boxes that's got honey in it, but it ain't ready to pull. I have been pulling a few frames out of some of the hives. I've pulled about 106 pounds, just making room for this tallow.
I haven't.
I was hoping to pull more today, but they'd be full. But when I'd shake it, the partially capped, you can see dribble. So I left it alone. Probably can get it in about another week, 5 days, 7 days.
So you don't do like a lot of guys where they pull all their honey at one time. You kind of pull here and there.
If it's capped and I can make a couple spins, I'll pull it.
That's what I need to do, just to keep my workload manageable and my space in my honey house. That's the biggest thing.
Yeah, space is an issue.
Can run out of it quick. Jeremy said he pulled 300 pounds this weekend.
Yeah.
6 deeps tall. My bees don't even make honey like that. And it's kind of, I feel like I'm not making as much honey because I had so many deeps that were left over from dead outs and stuff like that, that's what I was using for honey supers. So instead of having 4 mediums on there, I've got 2 deeps, right? So it's, I mean, the boxes that I felt were pretty heavy, but I don't know if it's going to yield more or not this year. I would think so because they're not making comb as much. So we'll see what happens. But I might start pulling some maybe this weekend. Who knows if I get froggy. But I mean, I don't know how you do, but when I pull mine, there's a great chance there's hive beetles in there. And I don't have a freezer to freeze my boxes. So I extract it. If I pull it that day, it gets extracted that day. And otherwise I could come back tomorrow and have a slimy mess, right? So it gets extracted as soon as I pull it. Can't take the gamble.
I was wondering. I checked mine. I actually videoed extracting some of it, and I forgot to even check the moisture in it. And I checked it after the fact, and all of it was 17.
Oh,
That's good.
you got lucky.
Yeah.
But so if it was low, what would you do? Just leave the cap off the bucket and put a strainer on it, let it dehydrate?
Yeah.
Evaporate?
Yeah. I'd put it in this warmer and stir it up a little bit.
Jeremy,
You know, our spring honey, it's pretty dry most of the time when we pull it.
so this is what you're considering spring honey right now, which if you pull it right now. And
Right.
when would you pull your summer honey?
Now the tallow, we always have to dry it a little bit because it's gonna be real wet when it comes in. So that's the ones. If you ever saw me in the video, I'd stack it up and put a fan on top and turn the air conditioner and the heater on to keep it dry in here. Get it down to like 35 to 45.
Right.
On the humidity in here and let it dry. Let it do that for a day or two.
Norman said he tasted some of his golf course bee spring honey. That was good. I used to pull early in the season, like the frames of feed that would be on the outsides of the box of the brood nest. I used to pull that out early in the year and spin it out, and I didn't do it this year. Just kind of let them plug it up. So it's we'll see how it works out, because I don't usually get too many spring swarms, but like after the honey flow late season, I'll get swarms then, especially when I shake them down to like a single box or something like that.
Cat's meowing.
My cat talking to me.
I'll pull the lightest frame out of several of mine today and spread them out to 9 frames.
Get them a little fatter.
Yeah, try to get them.
Yeah,
a little fatter.
I've always had trouble doing that, and this year I think I finally, I went in there and I 9 framed them, and I could kind of see them drawing it out now.
Yeah.
And then another thing is I just over super, and they put the propolis in between the frames where that 1/8 of an inch spacing, so everything's kind of glued in when it just seemed like I don't know. They're filling the hive from the top down all the time with honey, and it seemed like they're starting, like you say, getting a little bit wider past the frame shoulders and stuff.
I usually catch mine too late sometimes, and they already started capping the top part of the frame. And once you do that, they might make the bottom of it fat, but the top is capped.
Don't you start out with 9 frame to begin with?
I like to let them kind of already get started drawing before I stretch them out.
Well, I mean, I'm not talking about foundation, but if you got regular drawn honeycomb.
Yeah, if I got it drawn, I'd go ahead and do that. Yeah, I kind of use most of mine. Most of my honeycomb this year, I kind of used it in some of my brood boxes.
Well, I don't, dude. I
wish I hadn't have done that. Let them draw.
I keep all that separated.
Yeah.
Oh, and I got myself something nice to do with all the wax I've been accumulating.
Candle
mold. It's a historical replica because it makes 8 at a time, and this historical replica was cheaper than buying those stupid silicone molds. It's a bit like archaic, but it works pretty good because you got to plug the ends with I have some clay. You got to plug these with clay, but other than that, it makes decent candles. And it was like 200 Canadians with delivery fees, so maybe like 150 American dollars. But
Yeah.
if I had purchased silicone molds for 8 candles, it would have cost me nearly double that.
Just do like Lloyd. Lloyd's got the gift that keeps on giving with them candles. So listen to this. This is genius beekeeping mindset here. So he makes the candles. He sells them to the church. The church lights them, right? You know, Catholic Church specifically, I think. Maybe some other ones, but I know
Well,
the Catholic
they
Church.
all they have different.
So they have these boxes
altar-
of candles,
altar
right? And
candles,
people put a donation in, and they light a candle for a loved one or whatever. You know, I'm not Catholic, so I don't know. But then once that's lit and they come out and extinguish those candles, they throw the burnt candles in a box. Then he comes back, collects the burnt candles, takes them back and melts them back down, pours them back into the candle mold, and sells them the new candles over again.
That's amazing.
So,
And then there's some churches that will burn the candle down to where it's like a stubby thing, and then they get rid of that.
Yeah, but collect the stubs.
Well, he gets a box full of stubs and then
Exactly. It's
Yep.
free money.
So when I went up to Charlie's place there and I needed beeswax, I bought 40 pounds, 60 pounds, 60 pounds, 60 pounds in the beeswax blocks, and they were all recycled church candles. So my bees are blessed now. They got the holy candles, the holy wax on the frames. So
Like Ian, I remember watching a video of his. Like he had hives near like an abandoned church when he started, and he called it. It was he only had one that survived, and he called it the Holy Hive or something like
the
that.
holy hive. That's the let me see. Yeah, Brian said it's hard to get the wicks right on multiple candle molds if they're close together. But I think that one's got holes in the bottom, right? Is that how that works, Alex?
What? The one yes, it's tin. It's made of tin, and these have to be. I have some modeling clay because from my hobbies, and I just once I'm ready to pour, I just use this and put it over the holes to prevent the wax just from just leaking out. And beeswax also should use like specific type of braid. I don't remember the exact name. It's a weird like hashtag 0/1 or 1/0 braids.
You mean as far as the size of the wick? You mean?
Yeah, I don't know if you can see, but it's
there's
pretty
different
thick
size.
stuff.
Yeah, different size wick for different. I don't know much about it, but there's
Yeah, I just googled it, like ideal wick size for beeswax, and it gave me the serial number. I looked it up in Amazon, and I ordered a 500-foot long spool of it.
How do you get them out of there after they?
Once they're cooled down, you just press on them downwards. They'll detach from the walls and pull. Well, you guys snip over here as well. So you just give them a slight compression, they'll detach, and then you can just use the excess wick to pull them out.
Aren't they tapered? I think.
Yes, they're tapered. I don't know if you can see it.
Yeah,
There's a slight taper.
Once you break that seal, they'll come right out of there.
So here's the thing. You could buy extra beeswax, get ready for Hanukkah. You could have candles for every religion out there, man. Serious. And Brad's wife is selling beeswax too. Clean Canadian beeswax.
And I've been thinking of making bleached candles to get a bit more money. It takes time though for the sun to whiten the wax. So I'll see if it's worth it.
To bleach it?
Yeah.
Holding the wick straight can be tricky. Well, with that one, it's not too tricky.
You take a small piece of wood and you tie them so they're straight above the holes.
Yeah, I think you can watch Bob Benny had a video on there's some girl that he has down there that makes candles.
Candles and everything.
Yeah,
And there's a way of making that wick real taut, and then you pour it.
Well, it's one wick for 2 candles. So if you tie them on a piece of wood, and you rest them above the frame. It goes like this. You take 2. You tie both ends to a piece of wood, and you line them up. Then you fill the candles. Let them firm up.
They make a spray for mold release, but I think that's only for that.
Yeah, but
I don't.
I wouldn't want to breathe in the fumes from the mold release.
Well, you're not supposed to huff it.
I know, but when you burn the candles, the smoke won't be as healthy.
Well, what I'm getting at is they spray it on the silicone molds, but I don't think maybe you don't have to have that for the tin molds.
You don't need that for those. For this, like I said, you can just once they're fully cooled down, you can just press on the bottom of it will detach because tin is very pliable. So it goes tick, snip the cord, pull on it, remove the excess, and you're set.
I was going to make kosher candles.
Kosher candles.
Kosher candles.
It's going to make organic beeswax candles.
Yeah, organic. Wow. I don't think I qualify as organic though, because both farmers I have my hives.
What difference does it make? Nobody's going to eat it anyway.
Yeah, true. But I don't want to get in trouble for false publicity.
If they're eating candles, they got bigger problems than.
I could say gluten-free candles.
Is it a vegan candle?
Technically not, because it's from animals. But I could say gluten-free.
Kosher candles. That's funny. Yeah, Steve says if you put it in the freezer for a short time too, the wax will draw up.
Yeah. No pork's used. Yeah, no pork was used in the making of those candles.
No pork. Unless you sprayed it with like Pam or greased it down with some lard. Brian says he found his. Oh, that ain't even right, Joey. That ain't even right. Did you bring enough for everyone?
Yes. Here's yours.
Brian said he found his tapers always cool on the outside to create a cavity on the wick end. He says he has to use a hairdryer to warm the molds up first.
Yeah, wax. The thermal expansion of beeswax is pretty big, so I'll always put a bit more than I need to. So fill it through the brim, then trim them out.
Thank you. Dinner has arrived, but I will spare you guys. I will not eat this in front of you. Unlike Joey and his cake.
I'm going to take one bite.
No.
After that,
What it is Charlie's popcorn.
That looks sweet.
Yeah.
Taste-o-vision, that's right. Just looking to see my eBay listings.
What are you looking for?
No, I'm selling some ball cards. I've got plenty. I'm only put up 6 so far. I want to see how they do. If I lose a bunch of money on them, may not go that route anymore on the old eBay.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know much about it. I got one customer that does that kind of stuff, and he always talks about getting it graded and all that.
Yeah, grading is expensive too to do that. So this card has a value of $700. Right now, I've got it on auction which it's only been up for a little over a day. It's still got 6 days left. Right now, it's only at $258 on the auction. So we'll see if I lose my shirt on it or not.
Youch.
And this card's supposedly worth $175, and it's nowhere near that on the auction at the moment. So we'll see. But a lot of
you can't set a base price.
Yeah.
you can, but like this card, there's no comp price on it because it's only one of 10 in existence. It's one of. Well, I don't know if you can see it. You can see the little numbers, serial number up there. This is card 4 of 10. So they only made 10 of these. And this one has the nice little Miami Dolphin logo on it. So it's a little bit better than some of them. So we'll see. But a lot of people wait to the last minute. And then there gets a little bidding war. And then
They always do that.
Yeah, Charlie, I've got tablets now. I've got about 6, 7 full cases of them. I do have them.
Oh, Bob, I might be able to go to the Manitoba Beekeepers Association this winter.
Really?
Yeah, I've looked at the plane prices, and since all my debts are gone, I'm done paying for everything. I might be able to afford it.
I might. If I can, I might make the trip this year.
You didn't go this last year, right? Or this year, I should say.
Nope, too out of work too long to afford to go.
No, the Manitoba Beekeepers Association, DC. Going to the US is too pricey for me right now.
We'll have to tariff them. Come in.
Which one you going to, Alex?
I might go to the Manitoba Beekeepers Association where Brad goes.
Brad's house.
You can drive there.
I'm surprised he didn't join us tonight. He must have had a meeting or something. Oh, shoot. How long you been sitting back there?
Just got up.
Okay. I didn't want to keep you waiting. I saw you took a mouthful of drink, so I had to ask you a question right in the middle.
Good to see you, man. How are you, Bob?
Doing good, man. Things going good for you this year?
Yeah. I just gave the guy the lesson. One of those newbies. Holy cow. How do I know what the queen looks like? Was one of the questions.
One of these things looks not like the others.
Yeah. So I said, so there's a local club that's great. That is perfect for you, sir. But he picked up 4 nukes, and I had him out there ready. I had him out there ready on the driveway, and then I gave him the lesson on how to use it, because I had 3 in a pro nuke, and 3 in a jester nuke, and 1 in a pro nuke. So I gave him the lesson on how to use both of them, and I got paid. So it's awesome. I get all the stress of having all these nukes ready. And this year, so I have 22 nukes that I'm selling out to 10 customers. I made a sign-up genius. I sent it out last night. So I had a group email. As they purchased them, I got their emails, and they put down a deposit. And then I made like a group email. So I've been emailing them. Checked out my nukes, made my splits, get your equipment ready. So I email them periodically. And then last night I emailed saying nukes are ready. Here's a sign up genius. I didn't call anybody. I just sent one email out, and I have one person out of those 10 who has not signed up on Sign Up Genius. So I get to pick every single slot. So I get to choose when they pick them up. And then I put in the email too, if these times don't work for you, give me a call and we'll figure something out. But it was super easy. And it's like almost sunset. Maybe you can see the sky now. So it's getting dark, but not quite dark. So my first ones I moved out were my fat ones. And there were still foragers at like 7:45 going out. So I close it up, take them out to the driveway, and move the one next to it that needs a little bit of a boost of population kind of right in between those 2 slots. And it's a nice, easy way to kind of pad those other ones.
Let them drift home.
Exactly. Yeah. So I kind of been picking every other, because I got them lined up on stands. So as they're going, they're not going in order. They're going kind of staggered. And I got them numbered. I got my first 12 numbered. 12 are ready to go. And then I got my next like 8 that'll probably be ready by Friday or Saturday or whatever. They just need a little bit of time to draw out a frame more or something like that. But it's been pretty not stressful. It's been nice. Usually, Charlie, I know you've talked about that, the stress of having to deal with, not having to deal with the customer, but having the responsibility of following through. And because that customer is excited and they want their bees and they've been waiting for months, and it sucks to turn around and say, hey, we can't do that for you. So you do feel the weight of that responsibility. And this year I was conservative with the nukes I put up for sale. And I've already started calling people that are on my waiting list because I know I'm going to have extra. That was a really relaxed way to do it for me. I only sold a certain amount, and then I put a waiting list on my website. So it's like a zero cost sale. So they just buy their name on my waiting list. So on Monday, after I push out all of my nukes to my customers, then I'm going to start plugging into that waiting. I'll probably start doing it before that because I know where I'll be at.
How many nukes did you, I'll say, take orders for?
22 total. And no, that's not true. 22 total to customers. And then I had 4 I needed to fulfill to my annual management people for colonies that were lost. But those were splits I put in their place. I didn't put them in my yard. As I made those splits, they went to their boxes. So they've been making a queen in their spot, not my backyard.
Right. That's a pretty good way to do it. Get it planned out.
Well, if you get if you got a system, a plan, and as long as your bees don't die on you or whatever.
Well, all my colonies all my nukes aren't great. I've got some that have an X on them, and those are the ones where they're probably queenless or question mark. So, it's just playing the odds. And I couldn't tell you how many splits I made, but of the ones in my backyard, at least 80% have come back queen right. And the ones that you can tell, usually the ones that aren't, they're like jittery. It's not that you can't find the virgin and she hasn't started laying. It's just the colony doesn't feel right. So I actually shook a bunch of those out. I had 2 of those that I shook out today to start dispersing those bees to the other ones that are queen right. And again, those are frames that I can now use in other parts of my apiary. In that part of the spring, I'm using all of these frames to go into splits. Now I can kind of pull back and get some of those frames back from those colonies that aren't making queens. But it's been a juggle.
Well,
and my neighbors have been super patient with me because I've definitely had some of my splits not swarm out, but after swarm on me. But they all stayed in my yard, just right on the edges.
My daughter came up here, I don't know, a couple weeks ago. And I gave her a bottle of my barbecue sauce that I made. And she took it and gave it to her father-in-law. And they said they just opened it last night. And this was the comments that she got from it. She said it's empty. She needs another bottle already.
Nice.
In one night. It said her husband's parents said, you need to go ahead and get your recipe together and start selling it in stores. Said they opened it last night and it's almost gone today.
Gracious. What do they do?
So drink it on his burger and his pork chops. Saying, oh my God, this is good.
Well, Bob's a chemist, so he knows all sorts of tricks to make.
I'm also an eater, and that's the biggest thing, right? Everything, and Brian, and well, anybody that makes anything that's got a flavor to it, your palate is the taste tester, right? You're the one. You taste it before the batch goes into any jars or anything. So I guess I got a good palate. I like good food. So it just worked out. And, hey, there you go. There's some. That's my own personal bottle I've been.
So, Brian, when you make these nukes, are you pulling splits out of a big hive?
Yep, I'm pulling my overwintered colonies back. Sometimes I'm cutting them back hard. Sometimes I'm cutting them back a little bit. Depends on the colony, depends on the yard, depends on the timing. But for the most part, I'm making 3-frame splits, 2 broods in a food, and letting them raise their own queen, then going back and cutting queen cells back, or finding colonies that are making their own swarm cells and using those. That's usually what I'm doing. Other times I'll take like if I've done that already and a colony keeps wanting to swarm on me, I'll pull the queen in a nuke and put her in a dead out somewhere else. So that could be in the same yard or in a different yard, because that's going to kick the crap out of her, because she loses all of her foragers, right? Even if I move her 10 feet away, 3 frames of brood, that's going to kick the shit out of her. And if it's in a dead out situation, I just tape up my dead outs and leave all those frames in there. So I'll put it that maybe like a 4-frame split if it's got the queen in a dead out situation, and they'll be ready to go for the honey flow. And then in the original spot, I'll have a queen cell in the bottom box, a not a queen excluder, a double screen divider board with an entrance going the other way, a queen cell in the top box. So I have 2 nukes running in that one location. So I pulled the queen, kept her from swarming, but she's still going to make honey from me that year. And I've got 2 nukes that's going there. Now, if both of them come back mated, I pull one, sell it, combine it, and that's going to be back to a honey colony, right? If one of them comes back mated, I combine it, and it's back to a honey production colony. My only problem is if none of them come back mated, and that doesn't usually happen.
I did it.
I knew that.
I was listening to Michael Palmer back in the day when he first come up that, made the old idea new again, i.e. making nukes, because most people weren't doing it at that time.
Yeah.
And I started out where I was selling nukes. I would grow them up in a nuke box,
Sure.
and that kind of thing, which it was like a minute, you were kind of like splitting the hive, taking the top box off with the queen that came over winter and all that stuff. But
now, if you're doing that and there's any nectar coming in, you could even give that bottom box a honey super, because they have like a month of making a queen and they got nothing to do but put honey in. So that bottom one, because all the foragers are coming back to it, are going to have a bigger population. Now you can adjust that. You can give the top one more population by giving them more brood.
I mean, the nukes that I got right now that I've took 4 nukes and split them to repopulate my nuke yard. They're making honey for me. I mean, I'm putting foundation on. They're throwing the wax out, filling it with honey and capping, and all that. Which in turn, gives me that wax, gives me the honey. It's doing good that way. So it's different. If you got the time to, like you say, with your being retired and you can manage all that, it's a good income.
The bees want to grow at this time of the year. You just work with them, and usually, you split them apart, you put them back together. When it doesn't work, you combine them. You just got to know what you want with your bees. Like, I want my colonies to make honey, but I've got them all set up to go. So now I've got all these ones I can play around with. And then all my extra ones, like I've got some mated queens that have capped brood, but they're only on 3 frames and they're not even ready for those outer frames. So I might wait 2 weeks till they're ready to sell, or that might be a nuke that I pull the queen out of and sell, and then I'll do queens, run that as a mating nuke throughout the summer. So I have so many different options for those. And then when my flow ends around mid-July, that's when I start combining and consolidating. So I'm riding that energy of the bees while they want to make anything. And when they don't, then I stop and I start getting ready for winter with them. And it works out pretty well for me. At least it has so far.
Yeah, well, you got an insight there to know what's going on. You capture to what you can tell what's going on in the hive and what the bees want to do,
and what the bees want to do along with the season, right? And trying to match up your actions with the bees' actions in the season. Like trying to do some of this stuff in August, my odds are going to go down dramatically because there's no flow on, right? So to make queen or to make splits or anything like that, I don't want to do that at that time. If I'm going to make splits at that time, it's going to be with a mated queen already. It's not going to be with cells or queens
Right.
that are going out to get mated.
Yeah, it's just like this. I started the cell builder, and one of the problems that I had was, now this year was, especially in April, it was really cold, and a lot of times in the past years, April during the day was 70 degrees, but it would go into the 40s at night, which is too cold. And everybody around here at that time in past years, we'll start doing queen rearing in the 15th of April. That's when the cell builder starts up. And then they would have problems and whatever, because of weather conditions.
Yeah.
And my friend Lloyd up there, he says, you shouldn't even be thinking about queen rearing until May, till the weather kind of settles out, the flow's coming in, and everything's much better. And so, like I say, I grafted. It looks really promising and everything. And I got my cell builder, the setup. It's a queenless, but packing enough bees in there, the right amount of bees in that hive. That was my downfall, not understanding. I'm thinking, oh, look at all those bees. Well, that's not enough. You got to have more bees than what you even think about. And that was my downfall on that. And the other part was this cell builder I did. It was a nuke that went queenless, so it was queenless for a week. So now you got a bunch of bees in there that, hey, I want a queen. And I dropped in cat brood. As soon as I did that, they were crazy and frantic, and I dropped in some frames of cat brood for them to, so that will generate more nurse bees in time. And they just calmed right down and then poured, I don't know, 2 or 3 pounds of bees in that hive over top of what was already there. And so hopefully Thursday we'll find out. Hopefully I can get the weather will cooperate and I can make a video about it. So
Nice.
So anyway, that's kind of a big achievement for me. Finally kind of dialed in how to set the cell builder up. I've already figured out years ago how to do the grafting part and that kind of thing. So finally coming together.
Sounds like those weekends you spent down with Bill have really paid off.
Yeah, that weekend there was a 2-day thing, and the second day was more for grafting, which I helped teach that part of it. But the other part was when he was, we went out there and he had about 4 hives, I think it was, out there as cell builders. And when he opened it up, we were finding the queen. And I'm like, well, this thing's got plenty of bees in it because it looks like my hives where they're kind of covering the tops of the bars. And he says, no, that's not enough bees. And then when we put the grafts in, then he had 2 packages there with not packages with just bees, no queens.
Yep.
So he put in 6 pounds of bees in an 8-frame hive. And I mean, there's a wad of bees on the front face of that hive just hanging out. And then we actually drove back to the store that night to check on things. And it got down to 40 degrees that night. And all them bees were inside that hive.
Yeah.
They will make themselves fit in there. And the grafts, the ones that, were good, the grafts did take. I think he got like 28 out of so many, whoever the people that grafted and stuff. So that's something you have to kind of figure out or understand for me visually to see that and say, oh, now I get it. That, what you think you have still ain't enough.
Yeah.
And understanding to have that queenless, it's like if you got brood in there and it's a queenless hive with just cat brood, give that 6 or 7 days to be queenless and for that brood, a good portion of that brood to hatch out. You got fresh nurse bees in there. along with what you put in there when you put the graft in. So it's coming together now. So hopefully we can. I got all my mating box. I had about a dozen of them that I made them for deep frames, and I cut them down here the last couple of weeks and turned them into medium frame mating boxes.
Yep.
So I'm set up for that. I just have to populate them if everything goes well Thursday. So,
All right. So I did an experiment. I haven't opened it. Let's see what the Temu gods brought me. I never ordered anything from Temu in my life until this.
What's Temu?
Exactly. That's the point. It's an app.
It's
Those do
somewhere
not look like deep
between
frames to me.
Etsy and Alibaba, I would say.
Do those look like deep frames to anybody? Not to
No.
me.
They look like medium.
Yeah, they're supposed to be deep, so that's the first strike against them.
Temu is one of those companies when you order something, you're not sure if you're going to get a picture of what you're ordering or
Right.
what you actually thought you ordered.
Holy moly. Look how long that is. That even looks like longer than a... Do I have something to put it against? You see? I do. It just seems... That looks way, way too big. Let's see. Maybe I'm just tripping right now. I got a grafting frame here. See if Temu did me dirty. Maybe it is right, and it's right. I'm just wrong. But yeah, Temu. It was supposed to be deep frames. I don't even think they're medium. That might even be shallow. That would be terrible.
Well, compare the sidebars to your grafting frames, you'll know.
That looks like
Yeah, those look short.
I think definitely no deep. That's for sure.
Well, that might be medium. Medium.
So why did you order them?
Oh, it was one of those things where they say you got credit. Okay, what am I gonna get? So I bought some frames for I don't know. I think they were $1 a piece or something. They weren't expensive, but it was just a thing that I'd never ordered from Temu. Of course, if I'm gonna order something, it might as well be for my bees, right? There you go.
They're medium sized. You can make honeycomb out of them and package them.
Yeah, that's the
It's
thing.
not a big loss, even if they're smaller than what you hoped for.
Yeah, comb honey, maybe, right?
Yeah. Just add a strip of wax frame. The thing you'll need medium boxes though.
I've got medium boxes.
But then you're set.
Well, so we'll try it out. See, as soon as I get a chance to nail all them together. It's not many. Probably I have 30 of them or something like that. 30 for $27 or something like that.
Yeah, now and glue. Don't forget the glue.
Oh yeah, I got glue. Thing is, I still notice. I mean, sometimes I'll go prying even with the glue and with the staples or nails in it, but the propolis is so strong that it's still like because they've propolized the frames together. When you go to pull the top bar, it'll just pull those staples and everything right out.
Yeah, it happens to me from time to time.
Yeah, I've seen somebody getting in a hive with one of them oddball J hooks like Cayman has, but he didn't go sideways and break the propolis first and then hook it. He went right in to hook it. And I'm like, man, you're gonna yank them things right out of there.
I'll be surprised because this is the first year that I really just run mainly deeps for honey supers. And boy, I'll tell you what, that first box that I pulled off, that colony last week. I didn't actually harvest the honey, but I removed it and then put a box of drawn comb under it, kind of under supered it. But boy, that box felt like it was every bit of 100 pounds. I mean, it was heavy. So hopefully that's a good sign for all of them, right? So we'll see what happens. But that to me was the heaviest box I've ever pulled off one of my colonies.
Did you come out of winter with more than 17 hives this year?
Do what?
Did you come out of winter with more than 17 hives?
No,
this year?
less. I had I think it was 12 at the beginning of the year, and I'm at 24 right now. So, but that's perfect number for my situation right now. So that's what we're going with. It's not ideal, but I had too many in this yard anyway, so having them split up a little bit is kind of I don't know if it's really playing to my advantage as far as, because I don't know the harvest numbers, right? I'll know if it was a better yield having them split up as compared to 1 yard at the end of this season.
Oh,
but
you got a second apiary now?
Yeah, I got the last fall or after the flow last year. I moved to a out yard out there, but it's not really growing like I would hope it would have. But it is what it is. Like I said, when I moved those out there, they were kind of the struggling ones from here, and I thought that moving some of my weaker ones out would give them less competition here, or worries about getting robbed by some of my stronger colonies. So I moved the weaker ones out there, and I mean they're still alive, so that's a good thing. But it's not they're just not exploding like I hoped they would have in the spring. But a few of them are doing well.
Did you feed them rocket fuel?
I don't feed them at all this time of year. Right now we're getting honey flow, so
Okay.
Gotta let them do their thing.
Dandelion is just coming out here, so
Let's see, side chat.
So, Alex, do you have supers on your colonies yet?
no, season hasn't even started yet.
So
I'm not even done removing
drones
the
yet?
residue.
No drones?
I don't know. There wasn't. Last time I went there was 3 weeks ago to feed them.
Now they're all in.
It was just
like
done
this is
melting 3 weeks ago. And this weekend, I'm probably going to remove the wrappings.
And how many yards do you have these days?
I still have to. I can't have more than 30 hives.
Yeah.
But I had about 30% losses. Like I said to the guys earlier, one of them lost 8 hives, 4 of which looked like abscons,
Yeah.
and the other one only lost 3. And
Yeah.
each has 1 weak hive.
I heard your description before, and those abscons, Alex, I had a couple of those in the fall as well. So I'm feeding up my colonies in October. It's after I've done my treatments. I go into one
Yes.
colony. Yeah, I feed them up one time. Everything looks fine. I go in the next time. All the bees are gone. I had that happen to 5 of my colonies, and not all in the same yards, but it was mostly in one part of town. And that's when I started thinking to myself, this looks a lot like colony collapse. So way back in October, I was thinking about all this stuff. I don't know if the same thing you had happened to you, but
The other hives are
what you described looked very similar to what I saw.
which is strange because the other hives are incredibly healthy.
Yeah.
Like I lost half my hives on that apiary, but the other ones, like except for one small hive, like the 7 remaining ones are doing really good. Like by the time I remove Apivore, I'm gonna be not hard pressed, but it's gonna be close. Good thing there's a weak hive in each apiary because I'll be able to transfer some strength.
Yep. Yeah.
I'll take maybe the 4 strongest one, remove 1 frame of brood from each.
Sure.
So Brian, with that colony collapse like that, do they have any inkling of what's going on there?
No, they're just gone. They left.
Yeah, they still don't know, Charlie.
So it's not a mite thing.
It might be.
We've had, I don't know, if it's a mite thing, it's related to something else, like apivar resistance, you know.
I
But
didn't use Apivor last
I
fall.
agree with you there because I had my stuff tested, and
it's
there's
a
definitely-
number. It's a number of factors, in my guess. You know, apivar resistance is one of them. But you know, we had a terrible year. A lot of people had really bad weather. I think it was just everything piled up on everything. But who knows?
Yeah, because I used Formic last fall because I tried to alternate. Spring I used Apivar, fall I used Formic. Started that last year, so the bees don't build the mites don't build resistance. I also gave all the hives one puck of Epi tablet.
And that's part of why when I went into winter, I was a little bit worried about my bees going into winter. So I was pretty conservative about the amounts of nukes I put up for sale because I wasn't sure I was going to be able to accommodate 50 nukes, which I probably could at this point, looking at where I'm at. But I was worried about that in the fall, so I made conservative plans for sure.
Well, I'm sure you won't have any problems selling any extras anyway.
Or putting to use whatever I don't sell in other ways. Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, but between those two, I'm sure I'll be fine. Because I'll still have other production colonies too that might look like a frame or two weak. You might want to boost them up a little bit for that honey flow, and that can be a use for it. Yeah, there's lots of different things. But I really I like how you, Alex, and people like Keith, Charlie, you know, they focus on trying to get the most out of their bees and take the best care out of their bees with the number of around 20 or 30. You know, that's a lot of work to begin with, but you can get a lot of honey out of 30 colonies, and people like you and Keith have really demonstrated that. Like I can't spin out honey like Keith is doing right now because I've got way too much going on. He's got, that's pretty much all he's doing right now. So he can pull supers, spin them, put them right back, and just keep rolling the next week.
But is the flow started in your area then, Brian?
Yeah, we're on now. I also think he lives in some magical Mayberry place where the flow is always on and it's always sunny and people are always smiling and happy, and people like Keith are your neighbor.
They got magical basswood trees.
Yeah.
Well, guys, it's almost 11. We've been going for almost 2 hours. I think I'm
no wonder I'm getting sleepy.
Cut the live stream for this evening, and I appreciate everybody from coming in and hanging out with me. I'm, trying to do best I can as far as getting on lives when I can, and just thank everybody for showing up like they always do. And
Thank you.
And we'll see you on the next stream.
Yeah,
good night, everyone. And is it going to hang up on me like it did last time?
It usually has a delay lately. Something.
Yeah, because I've been complaining about that. It's like 5-second delay after my ending video quits.